What are the perks of being ugly? Serious. You fly under the radar way more. One of my friends is like a model and it used to drive us crazy when we went out to bars and clubs. Every conversation we had was interrupted with "Excuse me. Your eyebrows are amazing. Excuse me, can I buy you a drink, etc. etc." We were once in the middle of a disagreement and a girl came up and was like, "Oh my god, you're gorgeous or so attractive, my god look at you," then looked at me and was like, "You're okay but wow look at you," and I realized how intensely uncomfortable that much attention would feel, and it was the first, but not the last time. I was glad I'm less attractive than he is. I hated going out with my attractive friends. Not because I was jealous, but because people would constantly interrupt us hanging out. She loved the attention, so I was constantly waiting around for her to finish with whatever chucklefuck had bounded up to her. Or worse. Some wingman would try to take care of me by socializing with me. Look dude, I don't know you. I was just trying to catch some drinks with a friend and now I'm being talked down to by some drunk dude. Lame. I think for me I just got tired of being friends with him and all of his newer friends than me because everything was about image. Got to buy 70 quid of new clothes for that party. Got to use primer and moisturize and tone and color correct and pluck and tweeze and tan before we go out. Photoshop every photo. Like, it's just not me. I've always been grungy band t-shirts, bad haircuts and forgetting to shave for 2 weeks, and I realized I'd started to buy into that whole look-centric way of living, and if you want to be that way, fine, but for me it felt artificial. I'm me and if you don't like how I look that's fine cause it's not my issue. I don't know how he and his friends keep up the pressure on themselves, you know. It tired me out. Damn. I'm like between you and your old friend there. The grungy t-shirts? Check. Forgetting to shave for a while? Check. I have bad self-haircuts that pass as cool because of the fun colors in my headphones. Yeah, too much superficial shit gets to be too much after a while. My style is more high maintenance than yours, but I'd die if I had to do what your old friend did. I can't count on both hands the times I watched him wax his beard into shape, thread his eyebrows, clear coat his nails, wax his nostrils, fake tan. I roll out of bed into one of 6 outfits in rotation and I feel like my life is the better for it. I can relate to girls doing things like this when I was in school. When I was an underclassman in high school I had a crush on a hot popular girl and I would talk to her on instant messenger in a friendly way. She initiated convos with me after I stupidly asked her friend to ask the girl I liked to go out with me. I didn't really even know the girl I liked well, but it was a crush and I was a stupid loser who didn't understand that this isn't how you go about romance or dating as a freshman. I had no idea that you have to actually talk to and get to know the girl before you ask her out. So this girl's friend apparently goes to the girl I like and says that I like her, and after this the girl I like starts messaging me on AIM in a friendly way. Our convos are friendly and I'm nervous as hell talking to her, and a handful of times she baits me into thinking she liked me and I ask her to hang out or pathetically and meekly tell her I like her, and each time she suddenly logs off mid-conversation. She would go on to act friendly around me in school in a flirty way, but by no later than junior year that stopped. One of her friends told me once that she had been saying really bad things about you, and I was confused and just sort of clueless and aloof and didn't even take to heart what her friend told me. I just sort of shrugged, and in hindsight it's like I didn't realize what that meant and what was going on. Many years after high school, at 27 years old, as I laid awake at night in the throes of severe depression and suicidal thoughts, I finally realized and understood what she did to me and what my high school experience was like without me even understanding the experience while I was experiencing it as a teen. My crush was leading me on and making me look like a pathetic fool and loser, and she would bait me into thinking I had a shot with her before signing off of AIM and slamming the door in my face. I was such a clueless loser back then that I thought that she just lost her internet connection multiple times. I realized that she was saving our conversations and sharing them with her friends, and half of them were laughing hysterically at me while the other half felt bad for me, but of course lost any and all respect for me forever. This girl is probably why I had 0 positive interactions with girls in high school, and maybe even why I lost some of my guy friends. She probably told them about our convos as well and they lost respect for me. It's not a coincidence that the moment when she stopped having her fun with me and stopped interacting with me altogether is when I immediately lost my guy friends. She used to mock the clothes or shirts I wore to school by saying that she liked what I was wearing, and I would smile and say thanks. But of course she didn't like my style and was mocking me to my face. The fact I didn't get it made it hysterical to her. She more than likely ruined a significant part of high school and my life, and I didn't even know that she did until I was 27 and my life was over. She poisoned the social well for me and made sure lots of people didn't like me, and I had no idea until years later when I put a lot of memories and things together. Almost forgot to mention I'm totally ugly, and this is why she did this to me. I had zero chance with her and had no clue about the role of looks in life. I didn't understand that girls like her literally don't even want me looking at them or talking to them. I had zero understanding of this back then. I'm an adult male virgin now. I wonder if that's a surprise to anyone after reading this. There's even more to the story, but this comment is too long already. For you bro, your life isn't over. Seriously. 27 is nothing. I have friends who are amazing people and are physically attractive who weren't married until they were 35 to 38 years old. Life isn't a perfectly scripted movie for most people. I strongly suggest seeking out counseling if one bad experience 11-ish years ago is still causing you this much pain and preventing you from ever trying to find happiness again. Your feelings are legitimate, you were treated unfairly. But stewing over what one singular immature person did when you were teenagers for a decade after the fact is not a rational response and needs some help. Bad, unfair things will happen throughout life. You need to find ways to cope with them and move on and stop beating yourself up over them. Whatever happened to you a decade ago wasn't your fault. My boss just lost her job she's had for like 10 years, and then her dad died, both last week. She's 55. She's going to have to cope with those dual problems, and sulking about them until she's 65 isn't an option. Life has a lot of bullshit. You need to find a way to handle and get through said bullshit, dude. What some asshole did in grade school isn't a reflection of your own shortcomings, it's a reflection of their own. There's nothing wrong with you. You're so much more normal than you think you are, and most people go through experiences like that one, you just don't hear about them. My sister was in an abusive relationship for a solid year and a half, with a guy who would blame her for all his problems and then throw furniture and punch holes in drywall to intimidate her. I imagine this is difficult to forget, but she is doing what she can to find a better person. You gotta forgive yourself, man. You weren't stupid. She was. Yeah, my wife says I was not her type, physically, at all. She's my second wife, and we started dating 3 years after my first wife died. Her husband had also died 2 years previously. She founded a widows group for our little subculture, which has some unique issues, like the widows of famous people in our circles. I was invited to this group, which sadly keeps growing as we all age. After dating someone and making it Facebook official, he dumped her by text. She confronted him in person, telling him, "You get to dump me, but you better do it to my face." Then she posted about the encounter, to which I commented I had a lot of respect for that. She replied, "You're still single, wanna hang out?" I said, "Sure." I have a screenshot of that to this day. I didn't know she was actually considering it a date. I thought I was just going to pat her hand and say, there, get back up on that horse, nobody should treat you that way." She initially thought I was too neurotic until we hung out that day. By the end of the day, she wanted to kiss me, but didn't want to seem too forward. I thought she would be one of those esoteric hippie chicks that constantly blamed stuff on Mercury retrograde and essential oils, but I was wrong, too. We both got along really well, and after a few dates, we knew. We moved in a few weeks later, and we got married October 2018. The longest we have been apart since we started dating was 3 days I was in North Carolina on business. Like, we're inseparable and 100% compatible. Which is good, because I usually work from home, and she's retired military. But she sometimes goes, "Wow, I never thought I'd end up with a large, tall guy." After my last husband, I said I wanted to marry a guy much smaller than me so if he got sick, I could carry him around. Her last husband died from brain cancer, but he was like 6'5" and she had trouble moving him from place to place until hospice took over. I must sound like such a brat when I say this, but as a conventionally attractive chick in college, pre-COVID, I had to stop going to places like Starbucks or spots on campus to study/do homework. BC strangers would always approach me to talk. Random guys would even sit right next to me and start talking, and it was so uncomfortable trying to get them to leave so I could actually get some work done. I am 100% an introvert with social anxiety, and I do not understand how anyone wants this kind of attention. People tell me I should be grateful for it, but really I just want to be left alone. I stopped wearing any makeup or jewelry or anything but t-shirts and sweatpants, and that helps a little, but I still get approached when I'm in sweats. And in my experience, the people who come up to me and immediately are like, "Hey, you're so pretty," wow, always end up being the shittiest, most shallow people to be around. They give me false hope that people are actually nice, but being nice to someone BC you think they're attractive is not the same thing as actually caring about someone. Being pretty is a great way to make fake, superficial friends who will drop you the second they don't find you attractive anymore. It's a blessing and a curse. I've been friends with plenty of attractive people, Went to private Christian schools my whole life, these were the children of trophy wives. A few of my friends were even professional models, or were good enough looking to become one if they wanted. They got lots of attention and on the surface it seemed great. They could date anyone they wanted, get any job they wanted, and talk to anyone they wanted. But there was a very ugly dark side to it too, one that you didn't see at first. Sexual harassment was something they dealt with daily, and I'm not talking about just comments either but like actually being afraid to go into public bathrooms alone because someone might follow them in there. Most had experienced sexual assault or were raped at some point in their life, often when they were a minor. Many of the job offers they received were because some manager was trying to bone them, and some modeling jobs are even human trafficking scams. Imagine being afraid to lose your job because you won't sleep with the ugly, smelly, middle-aged manager. Oh, and he's married with 5 kids, and you're like 19. They couldn't go anywhere without getting comments and being stared at. Not the grocery store, not the library, not their classes at school, not the park, not anywhere. Yes, attention is nice, but not 24/7 when you're just trying to mind your own damn business. There is no such thing as anonymity when you're at 10/10. People just wouldn't leave them alone. Good-looking people are rarely recognized for the merit of their actions. Everyone around them assumes that every award they won, every promotion they received, and every success they ever had was due to their looks rather than their talent. A shocking number of people also equate good looks with lower intelligence, so many of their coworkers, classmates, bosses, and even some teachers just assume that they would be very poor performers. Is being good-looking better than being ugly? Probably. But it comes with a whole different set of issues that need to be addressed.